Another Mike Diesel production.
Knocking those lines, showing thoughts of rhyme. Knocking those lines, showing thoughts of rhyme. Knocking those lines, showing thoughts of rhyme. I'ma come through and show my wit line. Knocking those lines, showing thoughts of rhyme. Knocking those lines, showing thoughts of rhyme. Knocking those lines, showing thoughts of rhyme. I'ma come through and show my wit line. Knocking those lines.
Yo, Shabbat. Well, the end of Shabbat is here. Source gang, 7 gang over everything. You know how we rocking, man. And I got my brother Gideon in the building. He got some fire information for you, brothers. So he about to go with the brother Sean from I believe he's from Dagger SWAT, the Dagger Frauds.
Yeah, man. Just trying to get some clear thinking when you don't have all the noise around people to hear, because it's very simple, but yeah, bro. But you know what it is.
Yeah, man. And if you want me to pull the video up, I got the minute marker when he start talking that BS. So whenever you ready for that, I can get you that as well.
All right, no doubt. So what I'll do right now is, if you're ready, I'll share my screen.
You got it, brother. It's all on you.
All right, that's a bet. Peace to everybody out there that's listening. Want to give all praises to the Most High in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Want to thank my brother Yashub, the Scholastic Bully, holding it down. The brother Yirmiyahu also. And, we just going to get it started. Just something real simple, real quick. Like I said, sometimes you wonder, why do you have to do these type of things? But, sometimes it's necessary. So we'll just get it started. All right, so as we all know, or if you don't know, we came across a source speaking of Benjamin Tuadea. And in that source, he's speaking of Ghana. And, they have a couple of people that's saying that Ghana is not actually the Ghana that we came to know today. So what we're going to do is we're just going to get to the signs and just look at the source material and let that speak for itself. Because like I said, it's rather simple. You know, these brothers that have you thinking it's like way in China somewhere. But like I say, you know, we just gonna get to it and just get with the information. And you know, let it be as that. All praises. So, like I said, what we're trying to find is where is Ghana that Benjamin of Tudela speaks about. And for this demonstration, we're going to use 3 books. We're going to use his itinerary of Benjamin Tudela. We're going to use Everyday Map for Mummies and Logic for Mummies. And I'm being nice with the mummies. And this for my man, Init Heruti Khalifa. You know, he's Egyptian adept or whatever that may be, but this is where we're going to get this information from. This is our sources right here. So let's go. Now what we're going to do, we're going to triangulate. And I've always told those brothers that you have to triangulate when you have more than one location being spoken about that's speaking to a specific location. So to triangulate means to survey, map, or determine by triangulation. It's quite simple. Now, can we independently find this location using our own cognitive skills? Now, what we're going to do now is see where did he travel from to and the distance. Now, it says from Aswan, it's a distance of 12 days to Hulan, where there are about 300 Jews. There, people travel in caravans a journey of 50 days through the great desert called Sahara to the land of Zawila, which is Havila in the land of Ghana. In this desert, there are mountains of sand, and when the wind rises, it covers the caravans with the sand, and many die from suffocation. So we're just going to keep going down. It says this is in the land of Kush, which is called El Habash on the western confines. And as you see, you know, I'm doing this for my brother specific because he loves footnotes so much. You know, he like to be spoon-fed with the info. So we're going to see here, you know, it says what I'm trying to do. So that's basically what we're about to get to right now. Now, we're going to obtain a formula. And like I said, it's many ways you can go about this and showing your methodology how to do it. So that's what I'm going to do. And that's something that the other side don't do, you know, not so much. That's why I like coming here to the source, because these brothers like to source up or shut up, you know. So here we see it says from Sidon, it's a half day's journey to Sarepta, which belongs to Sidon. And it says other things right here too, but that's not what we need this for. So we go second paragraph. It says 1 day's journey brings one to Acre. So what I want to isolate right here is from Sidon, 1 day's journey brings one to Acre. So here we see Tyre, Acre, and we see the distance. That's 25.89 miles. So in 1 day, they travel 25 miles. Basic math, basic logic. So we see here, 1 day travels equal 24 to 25 miles. And we're using that when Benjamin talks about him traveling from Acre to Tyre. Quite simple. Now, what we're going to do now is use that same formula for the specific quote in question. And it says from Aswan, it is a distance of 12 days to Hulan, where there are about 300 Jews. There people travel in caravans, a journey of 50 days through the great desert called Sahara to the land of Zawila, which is Havila in the land of Ghana. Now, what I'm going to say, I don't know if I cover this later, but I want to get it clear right here. So from Aswan, we all know where Aswan, Egypt is. It says it is a distance of 12 days to Hulan. Now, Hulan, what we need to find out, where is that? And when you look at the research and you look at the footnotes in its proper context, it tells us that Hulan is right outside of Cairo. So from Hulan, it takes 50 days to get where we're going. And this is Hulan, our starting point, and this is the arrows that's spreading out in a 1,000-mile radius, not even a 1,200-mile radius. So we still have 200 more miles to give this to. So this is going to be one identifying marker. So let's go on to the next one. Now, we're going to look at the land of Cush. from Aswan. Well, I'll just go down. It says, those that escape bring back with them copper, wheat, fruit, all manner of lentils, and salt. And from there they bring gold and all kind of jewels. This is the land of Cush. Now, Cush is traditionally considered the ancestor of the land of Cush, an ancient territory believed to have been located near the Red Sea. Cush is identified in the Bible with the kingdom of Cush or ancient Ethiopia. The Cushitic languages are named after Cush, an ancient kingdom in Nubia centered along the Nile Valley in what is now northern Sudan and southern Egypt. That's coming to you from Wikipedia. Now, when we look in the book Logic for Mummies, you cannot, when identifying a place, omit one marker out of several markers determining its location. You just can't do that. Because if you listen, when I was speaking to an individual, he kept disregarding Cush. He literally said it doesn't matter. Crazy. This is Seba on the river Nile, which descends from the land of Cush. And some of these sons of Cush have a king whom they call Sultan el-Habash. Now that's from a couple of paragraphs above the quote that's in question right now. This is the land of Cush, which is called el-Habash on the western confines. Western confines of what? That would be the Nile. So we all know, whether you in the unconscious or the conscious community, this is a roundabout area of Cush. This is something that's known. So far, we have the distance and one identifying area. We have the distance of 1,200, and this is just 1,000. So we still have 200 miles that we can go further that pushes us past Libya into the interior of Africa. And we also have one identifying area, with that being Cush. So now we're going to go to the second part of the quote, or rather the second location, which is el-Habash. Now it says, I'm going to start in the second to the, or rather the third to the last sentence. It says, this is in the land of Cush, which is called el-Habash on the western confines. Okay, now let's see what el-Habash is. El-Habash, English, the Ethiopians, not the Libyans, but the Ethiopians, also known as the Association of Islamic Charitable Projects, is a neo-traditionalist Sufi religious movement founded in the 80s. Another name definition for el-Habash is old name for Ethiopia. Like sometimes I wonder why do we have to do this, but we're doing it not for Init Kafani to realize the folly in his error, but the people that listen to him. Because it's a lot of people that's in that community that buy bridges from people, that buy sand in the desert. So it's people that's listening and just really don't know what's being, they really don't have that information. So that's for these people. This is who we're talking to. So as I'm gonna continue, el-Habash, old name for Ethiopia, said to be from Amharic, Mish, or Arabic Habash. So we get the gist, we get the point. El-Habash is Ethiopia. So here we have another identifying marker for the land of Ghana. So logically thinking, we must, in our conclusion, for the location of Ghana, must include the confines of Abyssinia. Now that's on page 6 if y'all want to pull it up, because that's something you really do need to know. Now, again, so far we have the distance, and now we have two identifying areas. We have the land of Cush and we have the land of Abyssinia. But let's continue. Excuse me. Now, again, can we independently find this location using our own cognitive skills? Because the brother, he keeps saying Fazan, it's in Libya, go to the footnotes, okay, so let's just go to the footnotes for the brother. Instead of using our own brain and our own understanding, let's go to the footnotes that he so readily goes to. And the part that he's going to is at the bottom. I'm gonna start at the last sentence. It says Idrisi and Abu Fida confirmed Benjamin's statement respecting Zawila or Zoula, which was the capital of Ghana, the modern Fazan, a large oasis in the Sahara Desert south of the Tripoli. Now, the brother kept saying Ghana is in Libya. Ghana is in Libya. And I know my good brother, or rather my brother Yahshua, because Yahshua says no one good but the Most High. So to my brother Yahshua, if you have that you can pull up where the brother was ranting and raving about the Fazan is in Libya, and that's where Ghana is at. That'll be awesome. But if you don't, I can go ahead on with the info. But
No, I got it. I'm gonna bring it up right here.
all right. That's a bet. Thank you.
So this is the clip here.
In the itinerary of Benjamin Tadula, he never mentions once that he even went to Central, South, or West Africa. Why? Because they have a map of his travels. The travels of Benjamin of Tadula. He goes all the way through the Mediterranean, yo. He comes all the way through Arab nations. He talks about his trips all the way through there. He does go to Kemet, and he mentions a spot named that sounds familiar to Ghana, but it's Ghana in Libya. But he does not go no further than that, and that's pretty much hearsay. So when we're dealing with scholarship on the level of Benjamin Tadula, it's also
yeah. So that's good, Yashub. I just wanted to hear him say out of his mouth again that Ghana is in Libya. And with that, we're going to continue because this is the part that he harps on. Fazan, it's in Libya. Go to the footnotes. So we finally went to the footnotes and we see what it says. It says the modern Fazan, a large oasis in the Sahara Desert south of Tripoli. So for one, we don't see Libya nowhere in that last part. We see modern Fazan, a large oasis in the Sahara south of the Tripoli. Now, we can triangulate this, but we're not going to take the time. We're just going to look at it and just go to the information. And like I say, a footnote, all the footnote is a note of reference explanation coming from the author or comment usually placed below the text on a printed page. Now, footnotes are good in moderation, or rather proper application, because in it, or rather Sean is drunk with the footnotes. He's not taking it in good moderation. Now, to his point of Fazan, his only point, Ghana isn't Fazan. Fazan is in Libya. Slow down. Fazan is not in Libya only, it's also in Niger. This is a Google map. When you type Fazan, you don't get Libya, you get Niger. During the 13th and 14th centuries, portions of Fazan were part of the Kanam Empire. Wars against the Kanam Bornu Empire in the early 16th century led to the founding of the Alawad Muhammad dynasty, with Murzuk becoming the capital of Fazan. Around 1565, it was ruled by Muhammad ibn al-Mustazir. So we see here that the Fazan, which he put his stake in the ground on, claiming it to be Libya, and we see it's clearly south of Libya. So keep in mind, we're triangulating Ghana, Kush, Abyssinia, and the Fazan. But let's continue. Idrisi, and this is the footnote, Idrisi and Abufa confirmed Benjamin's statement respecting Zawa, which was the capital of Ghana, the modern Fazan, a large oasis in the Sahara Desert south of Tripoli. Now, what we're going to look at is what's south of Tripoli during the time that Benjamin Tudela traveled. And we see here it says Kanam Barno, by the end of the 12th century, had seized control of the Fazan, establishing a new capital at Tregan, a few miles west of Zawila, and its rule lasted through the 13th century. So when they're speaking of the Fazan in Benjamin Tudela's time, it's not ruled by it. First of all, it's not in Libya. Second of all, it's not ruled by Libyans. It's ruled by people in the Chad area. And I'm going to show you the dominions of the kingdom of Canaan Borno. Here we see it. This is just a rough, diagram or outline of where the kingdom of Canaan Borno was centered during the 8th and 14th centuries. Clearly not Libya. And we seen through the past from the previous source, or rather quote, that the Canaan Borno controlled the Fazan, something clearly known. You could just go back and look it up. And again, here we have the Fazan, which I was saying is on Google Earth. It's Fazan in Niger. Niger is sub-Saharan. These guys in their Hermetic hypothesis need to stop. But let's continue. And that's like a rough border, but the Fazan in northern Niger was ruled by sub-Saharan Africans because it's in sub-Saharan territory, not North Africa. I mean, that's clear and plain. Now here we see this is the kingdom of Canaan Borno. And clearly this isn't Libya. The kingdom of Canaan from 900 CE, the kingdom was the end of a camel caravan route that crossed the Sahara Desert, passing trade goods between Tripolitania, Libya, where he think Ghana is for some reason, and Cairo in North Africa down to Central Africa. This trans-Saharan route was one of the best, as it was well served by the regular oases that dotted the Fazan region. The Kanuri-speaking Muslims, Safavids, gained control of Canaan from the Zagwa nomads in the 9th century. This included control of the Zagwa trade links in the Central Sahara with Bilma and other salt mines. Yet the principal trade commodity was slaves, and we read about them taking slaves from the area. So when you're reading history and reading sources and reading the information on these places and not just putting your fingers in your ear and saying Ghana is in Libya, you're going to clearly see where Benjamin Tudela was talking about when he was speaking of Ghana. Now, so far, we have the distance and 3 identifying areas right now. So we have the radius, we have Kush, Abyssinia, and we have Fazan. Now, please shut this stream down if we're anywhere close to Libya. I'm just saying, but I'll continue. Now, here we're just seeing an area where it's Abyssinia, we have Kush, and we have the Fazan. Now, let's see where the approximate area, what he was talking about. And that would be it right there. And it's basically lining up with the diagram for the kingdom of Canaan Borno. That's Libya. My goodness, it's crazy. Now, here we see the areas of the expansion of all of these kingdoms in area. The kingdom of Canaan Borno, which would be the Fazan area, that was their principal area that they dominated. They didn't dominate in Libya. And with that, that's the end of it. And like I say, man, it's 3 books I used: Benjamin Tudela, Logic for Mummies, and Basic Math for Mummies. Because a lot of these brothers, of the Kemetic persuasion. But thank you, brother Yashu. I appreciate it. And yeah, man.
Yeah, that's powerful information. I don't know why these brothers have an issue with people outside of sub-Saharan Africa traveling into sub-Saharan Africa. When you even study secular history of Ghana, they tell you that those tribes came initially somewhere around not the Niger, but the Nile, Nubia, and then traveled west across the Sahara into Ghana. You know what I'm saying? That's what that's the secular history. That's if you pick up a book about West African history, they're going to tell you that.
Exactly. You literally see the migration, of the information as you go along. And like I say, these brothers, man, you know, I just don't know what to say, man. But it's real simple, man. But it's crazy, man.
I know what to say. Anything that substantiates an extra African origin or out of sub-Saharan African origin of people, foreign people, they got a problem with it. Or Jewish, you know what I'm saying? They got a problem with it. Even some of them got a problem with Moorish people. So if we invoke these names and talk about this history in West Africa, they're gonna be really mad because I'm gonna do chapter 8 of Black Jews of Africa by Eda Bruder, which is really gonna piss them off. That's a whole chapter is about the Jews in sub-Saharan Africa.
Oh yeah. That's gonna be powerful right there. And they actually, you know, they actually tried to say, I don't know if this is what he says himself, that Tudor Parfit says that we are all converts. I can't speak to that, but that's why, you know, it's good to go past their information. It's good to buttress your information with theirs because they have access to a lot more info, but you must like look at what they're looking at. And that's what we just did basically right now. Instead of relying on another person's interpretation, you give your own interpretation first and weigh it against the others. But yeah, man, it was a blessing, man. I definitely appreciate you, yo.
Yeah. And on that To the Parfait comment, these guys didn't even complete To the Parfait book. We read To the Parfait's book from the beginning to the end, prologue to the epilogue. And nowhere in that book does he say definitively that everybody that's black claiming to be Jews are converts. All of them are converts.
Right. And there is a conversation to be had that, you know, some blacks in Africa was converted, but they were converted by black Israelites. So I mean, I don't understand when they try to look at the history of Israel and try to rather omit it by the fact of not all, or basically that they are converts. You know, you can make the case that, you know, there is a percentage that have been converted, but the majority or the mass were Israelites because they were the ones that were running these governments, that were in charge of these big sovereign nations. You know, because it wasn't like 50 states of America. It was like one kingdom, and it ruled over a vast swath of land. So,
Right.
you know, the information is there, but you know, hopefully once these brothers get out their Americana and go back to what they claim to be West African scholars, you know, they can probably start, you know, sharing the information as well.
Well, they hate the West African scholars and traditions, and they talk down on people like Remy Yona. They talk down on the first person to give a slave narrative, Aludo Ekiano,
Yeah.
all because they mention certain traditions that are similar to Jewish traditions. And on top of that, this conversion argument is insane because there's very small evidence on conversion of Africans in general. Like,
Right.
for instance, we got Du Nuwas. Du Nuwas was converted into Judaism, right? He was
Right.
converted into Judaism. But by who? His father.
Right.
His father
Right.
converted him.
Right.
So these people will give you bits of information or claims, but they haven't did the studies themselves. They haven't read. I spent all Sabbath reading, studying, and putting together my information. These guys not dedicated like that. They don't
Yeah.
care.
They don't dive into the information, not at all. They do surface quotes and, you know, quote mine and, you know, rabble rouse and gaslight. That's all they do.
Facts. Because when we look at and analyze the history of sub-Saharan Africa, we see the Jews, we see the Balfour, we see remnants and vestiges of Jewish practices and traditions. There's no way around that.
Right. And just speaking on the great ruins of Zimbabwe itself, like the Hermetic hypothesis is keeping us from learning so much about our history. When you look at the great ruins of Zimbabwe and its architecture, its its architecture is based on the architecture in Yemen. Now, this is what you got to ask yourself: was the Yemen before Zimbabwe? I would say no. So we see that that whole area wasn't divided just because the Red Sea was there. That was all one continuous or one sovereign nation. You got Yemen, you got Ethiopia, you got Seba, you got all the way to like I say, the ruins of Zimbabwe has this. The architecture is based on the same style that's in Yemen during that time. So, you know, the information is there. They just don't want to read it because they know it's gonna, connect Africa with so many quote unquote other places that's not Africa. So
Facts. Facts.
yeah.
Like you got this the Sao Tome and Principe Islands, which we know historically Jews were sent there. And many people will be like, "Oh, well, all them Jews died off." No, they didn't. If you read the history, a lot of those kids were saved, and they were able to be nurtured on the island, and they worked the sugar plantations of Sao Tome and Principe. And in 19th century and 20th century, you have people go there and say there's still Jews there that practice the Jewish traditions are have the folklore of being Jews. And when we do the DNA, 84% of those people is E1B1A. 84%.
Yeah. Wow. And not only that, man, it's a book called The History of Venezuela, written in like the 1500s by Simon Pedro. Like, you can look it up right now. See, a lot of things, because I'm quite sure if our ancestors knew that we'll be going through this craziness, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I'm dark skinned. You would call me sub-Saharan," but that wasn't on the mind when they was writing. So you got to glean information from what they're writing and the circumstances and what others are saying about them. And I say that to say, in that book, it talks about a Ladino. Now we know a Ladino comes from Spain, and it's what's funny, they separated it. They turned Ladino into just a language, but before it was just a language, it was a language, and it was the Hebrew people as well. So you can hear Dr. Ben, Ben. He confirms that he's a Ladino, and he says his family went into the Caribbean. Because what a lot of people, and it's like I'm going back and back because the information is there. When you look at crime, we was on the Red Sea going to Tarshish a long time with the Carthaginians. So we've always had that relationship with Spain and Ethiopia. So when Dr. Ben is speaking on his family coming from Yemen going to Spain, we see that totally possible. But my point is he says he's a Ladino, and we know that the Ladino in the language are Jews or Hebrews or Israelites. So it says that this slave was a Ladino from Spain that knew Castilian and the Ladino language, and he knew how to converse with the Indians in Venezuela. So that shows that they had they had Ladinos in the Americas, according to that source. If you want to take that information for what it says, his name was Miguel. He not only revolted with the people on the island, but they named him king, and he set up a church. So what I do is I look at all of the markers. He's a Ladino, he's an African, he was a slave, even down to his name and the fact that he can speak Castilian Ladino with the natives. All of that gave me enough to say that this was an Israelite from Spain. So is when you read the histories that we can see that the evidence is there. Sometimes it might not speak directly to it, but when you can, parse out the information, and you can see that there is a culture of Israelites that were in Spain and they were black. So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, that's a fact, man. The Latinos were the first people to be slaves because the Gonzales, the people from the coast of Africa, were not allowed to be sold as slaves by Spain initially at
Yeah,
first.
the Bozals, facts.
So the first slaves would have been what you just said, Latinos, and we know historically a Latino would be a Jewish or a Jew inhabitant of a Spain, like you said, the Ladino language. They were identified as Latinos. So we trace them to being the first people being sold as slaves in the Caribbean. What's interesting about that is when the people, the Spanish explorers, they would bring their slaves over here, and many of those slaves would be Jews. Why? Because many of the slaves available at that time in the market were Jews because they was getting
Facts.
enslaved because of they refused to convert. So they would enslave you, either got enslaved or expelled. You understand? Those were the two options for you if you didn't convert.
That's a fact. And what they like to harp on is, like I say, it's surface evidence and lookership. That's what they go on. Like they quickly run to the Sephardic migration as if that's where, you know, the east to west migration is, where the unmistakably sub-Saharan Negro Israelite is, because what you see in Spain, as each century goes by, they're getting lighter and lighter. Because, you know, you think it's hell being black right now. Back then, they would kill you if you were identified as a Jew or you had Moors in your blood to your grandfather. So it was real hectic, you know. So they were, like I say, century by century, whitening themselves out. So when we look at the Sephardic Jew today, we know that they're quote unquote white. So they use that to throw to the listener, to where the listener be like, yeah, man, these guys are white, you know. But when you look at their history, you got to really look into it. You'll see that these people are originally black, and some of them were still black up until the 16th, 17th, 18th centuries, you know. So me, I like to start with that east-west migration, and then I kind of tackle that northern migration, you know, because, you know, they all meet up in Timbuktu, which is interesting.
Yeah, that's big facts right there. Ishmael Hadara has the history of those Sephardic Jews fleeing initially Spain. They fled into Africa. Then, of course, when they got into Africa, who did they meet? And this is how we know the Jews was there. Askia the Great. What did Askia the Great do?
Right.
He made a law. He made an edict that what? He expelled the Jews from all of his territory, which concluded, which comprised of the Niger Root as well, the Niger being. So
Facts.
he was like, well, my family fled as much as they could to the point where it was either accept Islam or the sword. So they all converted to Islam, but they kept the history and retained the history of them being Jews. And the beauty of that is they wrote this shit down. They wrote it down and kept records.
Yeah, that's a fact. And also, it's a lot of books that's not in the English language, like French, Spanish, Portuguese. Like that book I was talking about, The History of Venezuela. If anybody want to look at it, you're going to have to look at it in the Portuguese and just Google translate it and just keep going, you know. So a lot of these books that has the information that we talk about is really in other nations' languages. So you know, that's something that we got to remember too when people try to argue against that, because they know the sources are limited when it comes to English.
Right. Even Ishmael Hadara has his whole book in Spanish, and my Spanish is not perfect, but I'm able to go through and read the points of that are major to our argument. So
Yeah. Now I just hit that Google Translate on them and just copy paste it, and it'll translate it for me.
yeah, man, like I said, man, the history, like you brought up about the Sephardic Jews being black. They used to sing a song, and this is in Jonathan Scorch's book, the man that Garfield had on his channel. You understand? In this book, they used to sing a song where they would say "Llame, mi moreno," which means they call me black, they call me dark. That was a song they used to sing. You also have Ben Negrella.
Yeah.
He was called Ben Negrella, Sons of the Black Ones. That's what his name means.
Yeah. And it's funny you mentioned that word Morano. I don't know if you've seen my video on the Spanish Yuhadin, but I speak about Isaac Iberville. Matter of fact, I can show it to the audience right quick. It's like just a couple of slides.
Yeah, man, bring it out.
Let's see.
Yeah, man, that's why a lot of people duck it. Chris Harris ducked that debate on the Sephardic Jews. Nobody wanted to debate it, but they just want to discount it. And modern Sephardic Jews only represent 2%, I think, of Jewry.
Right.
98% of Jewry is Ashkenaic. You know,
That's a fact. That's a fact. That's true. It was like 11 million Ashkenaz and like 2 million, if that, Sephardic the last time I checked.
yeah, they like a small fraction of, because what happened in the Ashkenazis, they would come in and they took over a lot of the Sephardi synagogues. They came to America, took over the synagogue in Jamaica and the Caribbeans and South America. And they got rid of they doctrine, because remember, the Sephardics believed in patrilineal descent. They had a different way of doing things. Then the Ashkenazi came in with the 3 candles lighting on Friday, and they little tradition with the Talmud. Like, they have a different way. So they came in and enforced they laws and they rules and they regulations on the Sephardics.
Yeah. So I'm gonna just jump to this guy Isaac Iberville right quick, and I'm gonna share it. Let's see. All right, so this let's see. All right. So like I was saying, you were saying about the guy, the Morano, right? So this guy, Isaac Iberville, he come from one of the oldest Jewish families in Portugal. He's the head of the rabbis in Castile, and he was not only the richest Jew in Portugal, but the richest man, or rather one of the richest men, because even the king of Portugal was indebted to this guy. And this is a stock photo, but basically this is how he would have looked at, even according to the description that they have of him. He was born in 1437 at Lisbon and died at Venice in 1508. Known as the Arbonel, he was a noted warrior, general in the Spanish army. Having seen the excess of Spain, he and his father fled to Portugal in the 1480s and rose to a very high office. But then there was a rebellion of noblemen against the king, and they accused Arbonel and his father of being part of the rebellion. Forced to flee, they returned to Spain, where they were employed in the court of Ferdinand and Isabella. The Arbonel was again employed as a general in the army and as the minister of finance. So this guy, he was, so much for his people. It speaks at one time of hundreds of Yuhadim being bound for slavery, and this brother right here redeemed all of them. Now the only account that they have of him is right here, and this is where they use the twist and they spin things. And it says, in King Alfonso's court, Don Isaac Abravanel was a popular figure, for he was urbane and voluble. He cut a striking figure, round moon face, piercing eyes, sharply defined nose, high forehead, crowned with a yarmulke, and full white beard that covered his expansive chest. So this is the picture that they have of him. And they're supposedly, but this has a dose of Hermetic hypothesis in it, but this is what they get from that. And this is the picture that's circulated. That's, a rendition of him, but it's not a likeness. Now, this is from the book giving a description of the true Isaac Abravanel and his family. It's from the book called The Morano Factory. Now, the derogatory reference below is to the wealthy family that we're speaking about. Now, in that book, he took a quote out from a person that was speaking against the Abravanels, and it says this: I do not defame by calling them Moranos, those who were Jews and now are fine Christians. Rather do I call them apostles, deserving great unending praise. Moranos are those who most perfidiously baptize, gore our faith, clinging to the old law, indoctrinated by the wretched Negro Abravanels. Now let's go to like its true rendition that's in the book. It's, most Apollos, and you see Dos Negros Abravanels doctrine. And it says, but apostles I call it, many, muy, great praises having too many, Sam Morano, the Brown, Alfie, many infis, bazitos, that in the old lay, whatever, of the black Abravanels doctrine. So we see right there that, the brother was definitely a Negro. And I just wanted to show that, bro, because like you said, when it's spoken in being Moranos, we got to understand what a Morano is, and not only what a Morano is, but what is a Negro, because a Morano and a Negro are the same things. So yeah, my brother, that's just what I wanted to show about Isaac Abravanel, because he's a very important person in the history of the Sephardim.
Yeah, that's crazy, man, that we're bringing up this history because Reggie said something yesterday. He said, we don't need no Bible. We can just go rely on the history of our people. But the history of our people includes Jews. It includes,
Right.
you know what I'm saying, Jewish practices. So when you say the history of our people, what are you really saying?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Because that's what I say, man. These guys don't mean nothing to say, because just in the very definition of being a Pan-African, you would be a person that would embrace the Israelite culture because it's an African culture. So therefore, you're definitely not a Pan-African. And it's just it just astounding how these brothers just fly in the face of history right in front of them, for their narrative, you know.
Yeah, man. They make it seem like if you African, you can't be a Jew. If you a Jew, you can't be an African. Which don't
Right,
make no damn sense.
right. And I heard your stream, and I seen your review of the Sadnetta video with, man, that was, but I seen it, and I seen you say one part how, you were mad, or rather not mad, but don't like when people come on at a refute. Now, one thing that gets me, but everybody's different. If you don't really know what you're saying, or if your doctrine is kind of crazy, they're gonna make you look crazy. Because even if you know what you're talking about, they're gonna skew the conversation. But me, because I was blowing the phone off the hook because they were saying a lot of foolishness. I don't talk to those guys. Like I said earlier, they got people that's buying state bridges from people in a conscious community. So it's those people that I'm talking to that really don't have the the uh the gumption to look at things for themselves, and rather let people spoon feed it to them. So when I'm talking, I'm really talking to make them look crazy, but I'm really talking to the people that's listening. So I understand where you come from when you don't like to, because a lot of times, people just be food for the fodder, and you just setting yourself up, and it's just not a good look. But for those who do it and persevere, you know, at least on my end, I'm trying to talk to the person that's listening, not the person I'm talking to, rather. So but like I say, man, I understand, your frustration with it, but those guys, man, was saying a lot of lies, like what good is life without the Bible? Well, let me tell you the first thing what you're gonna have without the Bible. You're gonna have men going into girls and women bathrooms with all their Johnson and their junk hanging out, coming out, because that's free will. You can't. It's not free will. It's you can't limit a person. So that's the first thing you're gonna have without a Bible, because without a Bible, you don't have nothing to speak against unnatural behavior. We don't care what, or they don't care what an individual thinks. It's what the masses think. And the masses says you can be you however you want to be it. So you can be a person that don't believe in God but don't believe in homosexuality. But if you don't believe in the Most High, you have to welcome in those type of lifestyles, because now you're going by different principles. So without the Most High, that's the first thing you're gonna have. You got dudes with tennis skirts on with nuts. It's crazy, man. So those guys, man, they just, like you said, it's entertaining, man, and it's bad entertainment, but it's entertainment,
Man, those guys want to replace the religious institutions so they can take those spots. Garfield wants to be the next preacher, the next Eddie Long, next Peter Popoff, so they can abuse and use the people the way that they see and get the benefit from the same benefit that Christian pastors and the Christian church get from black people. That's all they want.
man. Yeah. Well, the sheep is out there to be fleeced, man. You're not lying, and it's a shame because it's the women that's really falling for it. You got the brothers too, but it's a lot of sisters that be looking for leadership, and they fall into the lap of these characters that don't have any integrity and don't stand on anything. So you got to be careful when you navigating these conscious streets, man.
It's crazy what you just said because Sarnetta exposed, quote unquote. You know how when he get mad at him, he tell the truth, but he involved in it too. So he just tell it on himself. But he was like he was talking about Sarasu City and Young Pharaoh, saying that they was going around sleeping with women, lying to women, using and abusing these women while they was on tour. You
Wow.
understand? Sarnetta went out. He didn't expose everybody else on that panel, man. He didn't talk shit about all of them on that panel. Then they all together on the panel together. Like this is crazy.
That's madness. That's madness. That's one thing I can't do. Like, if I feel like, you really not a person that have any integrity, I'm not really gonna be, buddy with you and, jam tight with you. Like, at the most we can have a conversation, but as far as like, yeah, I never been that type of person, and I really don't like the way people be looking for sons and fathers on here too. So that's why I really be in and out this, like.
Think about the conversation, where the conversation went. Before I ended the video, guy called in and said, "Man, the church got the women. The church, these niggas is just trying to find a way to pimp women. That's it.
What's
All the women in the church."
it was interesting how they was saying we got to get to the babies. How you gonna get to the babies if you're not going through the parents first? So that what struck me kind of. They kept saying the babies, which is true, but you got to get through the authority or the guardian of those babies. Because if you're just trying to get the babies and you have a doctrine that's, don't nobody know what your doctrine is. That's another thing. You don't know what a person's doctrine is till they shut the door and you're in the room by yourself.
That's that
Like,
Dr. York stuff, man.
yeah, like you just don't know. Look, give me the Bible. I can read this by myself, and I know everything what we should and should not do. And if you deviate from that, I know you know that's not right. But when, like you say, they want to get rid of the Bible so they can use the Bible. They got brothers who burn the Bible and quoting the Bible the next minute. They want to be the disseminator of that information so they can twist it and turn it the way they want to. So it's crazy, man. It's crazy out here.
Exactly. Then you got the nerve of what's his name? Dr. Reggie. I don't know what he got his doctorate in. It must be in culinary art school. The damn show ain't dealing with history or nothing like that.
Oh man, Dr. Reggie, man, that he reminds me of the brainiac that's helping them commit crimes and he not getting none of the money for it. Like, he just using all the technology and shit, and they just like robbing banks and shit, and. But yeah, man. But yeah, all of them. What Reggie is good at, he's good at going around the information. Because he knows the information, he's gonna go around it. And try to circumvent the conversation. Bringing up I'm gonna say it like this: non sequiturs to be nice. Like, what does a person getting circumcised on the 8th day have to do with him being descended from Jacob? Like nothing at all. And
Right.
it's arguments like that that just make me be like, wow, they really think they're talking to some dumb people. Like, and a lot of them are, man. It's just sad to say, a lot of them are, man. A lot of them are.
Yeah, but that's the ones they wanna engage with. You know what I'm saying? We just sent offers to engage with Garfield and other cats. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to engage in conversation with people that know what the hell they talking about because that's not the agenda. The agenda is to make us look as silly as possible, as
Yeah,
dumb as possible to the public, so they can be like,
yeah,
"Look, we Hebrews don't know shit. Follow us." That's the whole game.
yeah.
Follow us. We got the information. Even though they do more preaching and pontificating than any other group. Polite was talking all this crazy stuff about we don't need no Bible. We can figure out on our own what's right from wrong. But black people been doing that. It ain't been working.
See, and this is like what just common sense come in at. You don't much have to have like street smarts. You just need to have common sense. If a person comes into the community and he comes into the community telling you guys he's wearing Nigerian garb, he's eating Nigerian food, and he does that, that's his stick. And like 2, 3 years later, you see the brother in Louis Vuitton and Gucci and Versace. Like, y'all don't see like he was running game on y'all because that's how he came in the game. I
Yeah,
seen a video of Polite, like, yeah, I'm wearing Nigerian clothes, like this, I'm wearing my culture, and he got a lot of people sucked in like that. And those
mhm.
same people made excuses and was like, oh, okay, well, I mean, the nigga at courtside, he, Gucci'd out, Louis belt. I mean, it's crazy, man. It's like this is the Reverend Ike all over again, man. It's crazy, man. This shit crazy.
For him to question the Bible, you hear Reggie say, "Oh, it's magical," and he's saying it's all mythological. You the same man on camera saying on Mari they found the tomb of Osiris. This is what
Hmm.
this nigga said. They found the tomb of Osiris. Oh, we can find our gods.
Right. And that's why I was calling it because he kept saying magic. I mean, my brother, when you look at the African creation stories, that's magic too. When you look at Egypt, it's full of magic. So these brothers do a lot of fallacies and they do a lot of comparative cancellations, meaning if you was to compare it with your culture, it'll cancel that argument out because your culture does it as well. So these brothers, the tricks that they use, I mean, they use them, but it's not stopping nothing. It's not stopping nothing.
Yeah, that's the big thing about it. Oh, we need Garfield said live, we need to figure out some way somehow to get rid of this book. You're not getting rid of the Bible. The Bible's here to stay. It's the most printed, copied book on the earth. Everybody knows about it. The majority of the people on the earth adhere to the Abrahamic faiths, whether it's Islam, Judaism, or Christianity. That's the
Right.
majority of the population on the planet Earth.
Right. And here's another crazy thing that dude Polite said. We was living so many years without the Bible and without the Abrahamic religions, but this is what he don't say how they was living. Like it was one time when the Egyptians and the Scythians was trying to figure out who was the oldest people. And they took a baby, a newborn baby, and threw that baby in a room by itself for 3 years. Like that's how you want to go back to living when you talking like that and you look at history. The history before the Bible was the strongest survive. Some of them was tyrants, some of them wasn't. So so is that how you want to live with no type of mandate, nothing to hold you firm, hold you accountable? I mean, it's crazy, man. That's crazy.
If that's the case, our little small percentage is gonna get fucking wiped, obliterated, and wiped out. But he was talking about the Pleistocene and before the Holocene, which is like a period of 100,000 years before civilization, before agriculture. We didn't need a Bible then. He wants us to go back to that. That's barbaric, animal-like behavior.
Right, Right. I mean, pure animism at its best. And I don't know if that was you saying it, but I heard somebody was saying like, it's different, trains of thought is how old this world is. I'm kind of like a Bible literalist. I look at it as man, from the time Adam was here, it's been like 6,000 years roughly. But there are other believers that think it's longer. Even when you read Josephus, before he starts talking about the creation, he says that this is a real metaphysical story, and he said he was going to break it down later in the book, but he never got to breaking it down. So it's like I say, man, like brothers, I hear brothers say like 100,000 years, 200,000. To me, that's more of the Hermetic hypothesis, trying to separate the European from the African, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Because for one, I don't see people walking around for hundreds of thousands of years and niggas don't know how to write.
Yeah, that's what Dr. Russell Humphrey said. It took humans this long. Homo sapiens sapien meaning wise. It means wise man. That's what it means.
Right.
It took them that damn long.
Right.
To figure out how to read, how to write, how to develop culture.
Right.
He said, "Oh, we developed cultures. There was no damn culture. There was none of that. It was hunter and gathering, survival of the fittest. If you didn't find a meal that week, your ass died."
Right. Exactly. So yeah, man, that's nothing but a lot of grant money that bought a lot of cocaine, and these guys had to fill in the blanks and ran wild with this shit, man. It's crazy.
Yep. And if Polite's out there, he happened to watch this video, I would love you to come on the source. We can have a dialogue and we could talk about these claims that you made about us going back to being barbaric humans.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're gonna go back to living in caves too. We're gonna go back to doing that shit. Like, come on, man. This
right, exactly. Exactly. You want to go back to when the king died? Damn near half of the royal court was killed with him. Like, you want to do that?
Right. Come
It's
on,
crazy,
bro.
Man. It's crazy. Just don't make no sense, man.
But that's why these guys ain't used to explaining themselves. They used to always questioning. They question us 1,000 times. But when are we gonna get to return the favor?
Right.
Start questioning them on what they're saying and what they believe. You understand? They
Right.
start to look silly. That's why Sarasu said he got washed by Nasi.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was Mike Tyson right there. Yeah, and like you say, man, one thing you're gonna see an Israelite on all type of channels. But one thing you ain't gonna see people coming on these Israelite channels like talking about it. It's like we gotta travel. We always away, and that's what I be holding these brothers to task to. Step out on, come off your porch, go somewhere else. Go play football in another neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it is. You a scholar or you a researcher, let's do it,
Yeah, that's a fact, man. And, like I've been saying for years, we've been playing this game of cat and mice with these guys where they want to say, come to my platform. Back then it was Google Hangouts. We had to go on these dudes' Google Hangouts and go live on their channel and on their platforms. And the minute we say, you know what, I'm done with that, y'all gonna have to start meeting us over here. Because we're not gonna play 1,000 away games and you don't play no away games.
Right.
So that's why my stance is I don't go over there.
Yeah.
I went over there once this year because I watched Garfield sit up here and talk bad about Anonymous Hebrew, and I went in there to defend him. I didn't go over there for myself. I went over there to defend him, and then after I was done defending him, Garfield said, how do you know you a Jew? I said, I answered that question on my channel. I'm not coming to your channel. We ain't getting your goddamn answer.
Yeah. Yeah. Now see, that's when you don't want to engage in a real genuine conversation. Yeah, that's you can't do nothing like that, man. You got to be willing to go anywhere. Like, shit. Yeah, you got to.
Yeah, man, but this is why you mentioned my commentary on the brother that called in. If you're trying to combat them, that's one thing. But when it's obvious that the brother heart is bleeding out for these brothers. He's trying to convince these brothers.
Yeah, nah.
That's the problem I have.
Yeah, nah, it ain't that, cause the Most High done revealed Himself to all them brothers, man. You know what I'm saying? And now it's just to a point where it's like Pharaoh. Pharaoh took that first step and was down bad. After that, the Most High hardened his heart. That's another thing they like to say. Or the Most High hardened the Pharaoh's heart. Only after the Pharaoh, he took the first step. He was the first one down bad. He was the first one killing the infants. So, it's like they take things out of context and cherry pick. They cherry pick conversations. You get into a conversation about West Africa, you wind up in Babylon talking about who wrote the Bible and all this other stuff. Like, it's ridiculous, man. Like, you got to be damn near versed on all type of disciplines just to have one conversation with these brothers. Like,
Right. And that means you beating up on them when they
yeah,
start moving the goalposts. I mean, you really beating up on them and you getting down on them, because if we talking about Jews in West Africa, we talking about kingdoms, we talking about Ghana, we talking about Saniki, Ouagadougou, Gaio, so on and so forth, and then you move the goalposts and say, "Well, can you show me the bones of Shem?"
right.
Come on, bro.
Right, man. We started in West Africa, man. Them niggas moonwalked all the way to Babylon, bro. It was ridiculous. I had to stop it. I said, bro, come on, man. It's crazy. Want to get you on a gotcha moment, And the first thing I noticed that day I asked a person is, who wrote the Bible? And then they try to trap you up on that. But what I would tell them is, we're not starting from there. Let's start from them being an established people. First century AD, they're already established. These are the people I'm talking about. Whether Dr. Seuss wrote the book, they got the book and they're in Jerusalem, first century AD. Let's start right there. We're not about to get into no textual criticism and the documentary hypothesis and all these straw mans. We're not gonna deal with that. So you gotta watch them guys, man. These guys are slick, man. They ingenuous with they're disingenuous with their comments and their information. They cherry pick the information. I mean, Sean literally said it didn't say it. It was something I read from the report. He was like, nah, that's not in there. And it was right below the source he was reading, which shows he don't read the whole thing.
Yeah.
That was crazy, man.
Yeah, that's not in there. They do me like that all the time. Oh, he lying. That's not in the book. I'm like, I own these books, bro.
I'm like, I just read. It's right there on the screen, Sean. It's crazy, man. But they took that thing from Garfield and jumped clean out the window with it, talking about the Fazan is in Libya. You notice Garfield never said nothing about it after that. It just been they took the ball and ran with it.
Well, I exposed Garfield, Chris Hare, all these guys. They play for the African skimmers.
Yeah,
they skim. You understand? They don't sit down and read and digest information. They skim stuff, or they'll watch my show, take a snippet of it, and act as if they read what I read. You did not read this book. You did not read the chapter. You didn't do no in-depth study on this. You just saw what I said, disagreed with it, and you're going to go on there and fake the funk and make it look like you know what the hell I'm talking about. No, you don't.
Yeah, man. But I got a video on my channel for the Emperor Dagger Squad, man.
What's the video called? I can play it. I can upload it on here.
It's Garfield Reed fishing with fallacies.
Hold on, let me pull it up. I think I've seen it already. Let me pull it up. The Cushite Israelite, right?
Yeah, Cushite Israelite TV. Yeah, man, that dude, man, he talks so fast. It's like I don't know if he be knowing what he be saying, but I just had to take that one that time because I was on a panel and he just going on and on and on. And I just left off because, it gets to a point where they don't let me say anything. So I said, well, let me just put this down while it's still in my mind. And I came up with that, man. And it's kind of crazy. But yeah, Garfield, man, he food for fodder, man.
All right, here we go. The Emperor.
I can't make you believe it. It doesn't mean that it's not true. You understand what I'm saying?
All right. Let me ask you a question. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever studied
the prophets, the pre-exilic prophets, what they were writing about. You know, it's like if you look at pre-exilic Psalms, like Psalm 78. Psalm 78, no, I'm not sure if Psalm 78 is a pre-exilic psalm, but if you notice, Psalm 78 has a Exodus story, right? It has. Are you familiar with Psalm 78 Exodus story?
Like a snake horse.
Bible, but I'm saying, like,
all right.
I'm gonna go to the story.
Let's look at this. Let's look at this.
Okay.
Moses is not mentioned by any pre-exilic prophet by
What?
Exactly, bro. Exactly.
This nigga will lie out his teeth, man.
Fast in a hurry. Madness.
That is significant. You know why that's significant? Because the pre-exilic prophets talk about it, and if the main character that saved you, that took you out of Egypt, is not mentioned, it is significant because he should be a major party player to the storyline. Now, there's an artifact called.
Then his people recalled the days of old, the day of Moses and his people. Where is he who brought him to the sea with the treasure of his
Yeah, man, this nigga crazy.
Where is he who set his Holy Spirit among them, who sent his glorious arm of power to be at Moses' right hand, who divided the waters before them to gain?
So they had a dagger squad sticking on his back.
Who led them through the depths.
But yeah, man, it's for pre-exilic prophets, and half of them speak of Moses. It's crazy, man.
Yo, and he knows his audience is not gonna hold him.
Right.
Any standard where he got to be truthful with stuff like this. This guy lies over and over again, or he exaggerates. Him and Polite do the same thing. Polite just do it to another level. He'll just
like you say, he'll throw a word salad on it, and like you'll be lost. You'll be like, "Fuck it, it sound good, so it must be true."
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. It's
like
crazy.
This dude talking about we found Team Osiris. I mean, not Team Osiris. We found the casket of Osiris in ancient Egypt. They reverence the sun because it's the most powerful light or whatever. Like, bro, can I find a papyri with the stuff that you saying?
Right, exactly.
Is that in the papyrus of Ani? Is that in the tale of Sinuhe? And none of this stuff can be found over there in the actual text or recorded history. You just making this shit up as you go. As we speak right now, you making this stuff up.
Yeah, making it up.
But then got the nerve to talk about the Bible's fake and all that. What we believe in is fake, but you literally falsifying information.
Right.
On camera.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, Ramal Yahoo. Yeah, I remember that. Garfield told Ngozi, you're being too honest. So you want the brother to lie.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's crazy.
You want the brother to sit here on the candy cam and lie about the information, all because you have a gripe and a beef with the Bible. Again, on camera, this brother is saying we have to somehow, some way get rid of this book.
Right. Just to show how hypocritical their doctrine is. Okay, so they're for the African, yet they discredit Africans, discredit Olu Equianu. Rabon committed suicide with his first slide talking about intangible cultural heritage, which includes oral traditions. When you have several African tribes with an oral tradition dating them back to Israel. So these brothers are the ones, it's other Africans that they discredit, when they say they're Israelites. So they're the ones that discredit the Africans. They discredit their master teachers. They only master teachers in name because they surely ain't taking nothing what they taught them.
Right. Matter of fact, they discredit all Africans because all Africans have some kind of spiritual religious tradition, and that these guys are mainly atheists. Because when you get down to the nitty gritty, what are they trying to get you to do? Become atheists. We don't need no God. We don't need no religion. We don't need no system. All we need is our own intuition. That's atheism.
Yeah.
In Africa, by and large, it's not atheists.
Not at all. Not in the least.
Right. These people believe in the deity. They believe, like Naomi, for instance, is an all-powerful deity.
Yeah. They basically have the same belief system that was in the Near East, but it's just quote unquote been it's primatized because the way that not only the Arab slave trade but the transatlantic slave trade decentralized a lot of these areas. It brought them back down to a base type of living. But when you look at their belief system, like you were saying, in Yame, Olorun, these are supreme deities who they say are removed from everyday affairs, just like uh El was in the Near Eastern culture, just like a lot of those Near Eastern gods were. They were removed from the people. They had the angels or the lesser spirits, like the river nymphs or the river spirits or Shango or Marduk. These were the gods that did the work. So it's basically the same type of worship system. It's just in a different area and with different gods, because if you go in a different location, that's another god in that location. So it's basically the same system. Like, it talks about the king of Babylon looking to the liver, trying to foretell a future. That's something they still do in Africa, reading the
Mm.
entrails. So, it's the
You,
same.
you got a presentation with that in it?
I could pull up a slide right now showing that.
Yeah, man, bring that out. Bring
Right.
that out. Drop that science real quick.
Let's see.
Niagara Valley Civilization says atheist as in what? Atheist exactly what it means, against a deity. You understand? Oh, this is him. It's not the same system at all. Had to switch profiles. Sutek, you make a lot of claims, a lot of statements. Hit that link, join, and make yourself known.
That's simple.
Because what you're saying is what Derek Lang points out in his book, in the notion that many of these practices and cultures can be akin to the Israelite Canaanite model. That's what his whole book points to. But like I said, Sutek, you welcome to come on here and have a discussion with Brother Gideon, and y'all can get it in about that.
Definitely. So I'm about to pull
He
it
said
up.
that's not what atheism is. Atheism today is the belief, or what they will say now, because they don't want to use the word belief. They're afraid of the word belief now. The
Yeah.
lack of belief in God. That's what they say.
Crazy.
That's not what atheism. A lot of y'all just be wanting to argue just to argue. Come on, man, stop.
Yeah,
You
so I'm
knew.
about to share it right quick. Share my screen. All right. Yeah, it's just one slide right quick, so it ain't gonna be too long.
Right, Chemo. All of that's a belief because you still believe that there's no God. It's still belief. You gotta scared of the word belief.
So it got some audio with it. So this is Ezekiel 21. The king of Babylon stood at the pardon of the way. He made his arrows bright. He consulted with images. He looked into the liver.
Now that the people and the cattle are together, it's important to try and get some idea of the future. Some Morsi, like Biobume, have special skill in reading entrails.
So, it's just little stuff like that that ties us, or rather it shows that that's an ancient worship system. Like, it's just, like I say, a new place, new time, new elves, or new, orishas, or new, loas, but it's the same thing.
Yeah, and what you're doing is a comparative study, which any scholar would do. But when we do it, it's a problem because again, these people are biased. towards the biblical tradition and the biblical faith and the practices. But you got to understand something. Africa has been exposed to Judaism or Jewish practices, what have you, for thousands of years.
Right, right. And they kill me when they try to say the Jewish influence, but we don't. It's no Jewish influence in when you look at those people in Africa, the Israelites in Africa, because for one, they go off of temple worship and not the Talmud. And when you look at the Talmud, like there's a particular the people of Dan, they slaughter a lamb. The Talmud, you don't have to slaughter a lamb no more. So if we was taught by these Jews, why would they teach us practices that they don't follow? Why would they not teach us the Talmudic practices? Like you had some I read where you had tribes that been there so long that they don't call upon the name of the prophets, they call upon the name of Joshua, because that was the only one they knew. So when you look at the history, like you say, man, it's deep. Like you have several layers, several migrations, several, phases of Israelites going into Africa. I have a source. I haven't brought it forward because I don't know where I got this from. It's from a Sephardic Jew, and he have a whole bunch of stories of his grandfather and his father's father, things like that. And then one of them is talking about Sigil Massa, which is in Senegal, if I'm not mistaken. And he was talking about how Nazarenes came into the area and they had conflict with the Ephraimites that was there. Like they had a big war. And, after so much of a time, they kind of pieced it out. And, it was no more war. But it literally speaks of, Israelites, who believe in Yahshua fighting against Israelites that been there. So I just got to find out what, I got it, but I just can't, I got it off of Stanford. It's called a Stanford engine. But I can't nail it down. So that's why I never brought it out.
Okay, Sutek, man, you back again, man. Hit that link. The brother said, so y'all saying theism is African. Of course, it's a part of the human experience.
Of course. They all believe in the one creator. And like Drusilla Dungeon said, they deviated and corrupted themselves into worshiping the lesser gods. But they, in the beginning, they believed in the one creator.
I mean, they cherish Egypt so much and invoke Egypt. Ancient Egypt was inundated with deities, and they believed in theism. They believed that a deity created the universe, that's one, and created mankind and created the earth and everything we see. They believed in that.
But they got to run from that because, you can only explain so many times why Gab got his own member in his mouth. So, but if you just see, it's just a progression, bro. They running like, now they not Egypt no more, but they still stuck with all these Egyptian names, which shows that some type of way they thought they was Egyptians, but now they never say they was Egyptians. Now they saying, you got, first they said wasn't no Israelites in Africa, period. Now they're saying, okay, they was in there, but they were white, so you see it's crumbling, like they crumbling, they running out of things to say. And they're gonna have to find another angle, man. Maybe go get some more cargo miniums or something and
we got
try to kick that off.
We got Sutek in the building.
What up? Peace to the panel, peace to the chat.
Shalom.
So y'all saying you saying theism is African?
A belief in the creator, yes.
Is that what theism is?
I mean,
can you pull up the definition?
I don't really venture atheist circles, so I mean, I wouldn't say for definite, but that's what I would say it is.
No, he said what theism was.
Oh, theism is a belief in God, right?
It's a belief in the existence of gods or gods.
Right. Yeah.
Especially in the belief in one God as creator of the universe, intervening in it and sustaining a personal relationship to his creatures.
There you go. So is that a consensus throughout Africa?
They always believe in it. Well, theism essentially just a belief in the existence of God or gods. That's a human experience. So
That's not
Africans
the
would
whole
call it,
definition.
brother. That's what theism is.
But you just read the whole definition, right? So either we gonna stick to the definition or we gonna make up our own as we go.
Sutek, I didn't make up my own definition. The definition is the word theism comes from what? What's the word theism come from?
Theos.
Which means what?
But we're talking about theism, though. We not. That's
No.
called
What does it? Hold on. Let's break down the etymology and where we get this word from. The word theism is a system of a belief of a god. That's what it means.
Do you know what an etymological fallacy is?
That's not an etymological
You know
fallacy.
what a defiance fallacy is?
That's how we apply it to this day.
No, you don't.
Yes, that is how we apply it. A theist, Sutek, if you are a theist, you believe in a deity. If you are a deist with a D in front of it, you believe that a deity created, but is not involved at all with its creation.
Okay, so why can't we just go to the definition?
I just read the definition. Sutek, I just read the definition.
Right, and you
that's
said
numerous as a definition. That's numerous definitions, bro. You want a collegiate definition, you want the Oxford definition, we can read it. But the way it's applied, that's how it's applied. If you believe in theism or deism, you're dealing deism with a D, you're dealing with deities. Deism is usually pertaining to a God that creates but does not interact with his creation.
Okay, so that would be a consensus in Africa versus theism, right? Because theism is the belief in the existence of God or gods, especially the belief in one God as creator of the universe, intervening in it and sustaining personal relationship to his creatures. That is not a consensus in Africa.
You said it's not a consensus in Africa. Even if it was, I'm not going to make a big argument, a gripe about that. But can you give me an example of a African deity, you understand, that is not falling under the parameters of what we call theism? I don't even know how you're making this argument, but show me one.
Olodumare.
Okay, show me.
That's the supreme deity of the Yoruba. He does not intervene in the lives of human beings or earthly matters.
Okay, give me the citation.
What do you mean the citation? You need a citation?
Yeah, I need a source. Well, you just telling me that I need to see the source.
Okay, hold on.
So we're going to determine if this is a deist with a D or a theist concept.
All right, so y'all continue building. I pull it up.
Okay, find it for me, brother.
All right, no problem, no sweat.
But the primary point is that these people believe in gods, whether he want to make it seem like they're deists with a D or theist.
Right. I think it's picking straws to this point. You know?
No, it's really not, because you can say a god is anything. You can say a god is water. You can say a god is air.
That's not what's in those concepts. These people believe that these creators created the universe. That's not just saying water. They created water.
Right. That's different.
How is that different?
Okay, if you have a deist with a D, that means he did everything. He just does not deal with man day to day. Then you have a theist that supposedly, I guess, deals with man day to day. I mean, it's the same thing, you ask me. A creator created the universe, and that's the end. That's the end. Once you believe a creator created the universe, that's the conversation. At least with me.
Y'all making y'all own definition though.
No. As far as what?
I just read the definition. He just read the definition, and that don't apply to the consensus of African cultures.
So when I say a deist is a creator that creates but doesn't involve himself, and the theist with a T creates and involves himself, what I'm saying is once you get past the point of a creator creating something, you believe in a God. That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to these breakdowns and these subsects of these definitions when they're trying to, differentiate something that I'm not even speaking on. This is what I'm speaking on. If you believe in God, you believe He created, and once you believe a God created something, you believe in a God. Now, a person can break it down, however they want, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with saying they had deities. I don't have a problem with that. But when you say
Obviously, you
theism,
do.
that's
Obviously, you do.
That's a specific type of deity.
That's a whole nother conversation, though.
All right, no problem. I'm just making sure because
we're waiting on that source
that's
too.
what I
Brother.
came on. When I came on, that's what I said.
Okay, though, pull that that source up on Olodumare, which is a supreme creator god, by the way.
Right.
Yeah, but
so we believe in God.
That does have something to do with your point, man. Because our point was they're not atheists.
Right.
That's our point.
Right. That's
the Yoruba believed in a supreme creator god. Somebody put it in the back. Shout out to Wazoo. I ain't seen this brother in a while, man. Olodumare, also known as Olorun Almighty, is one of the manifestations of the supreme creator god in the Yoruba religion.
That's a blunder. Olodumare and Olorun is not the same.
But I mean, you arguing that, but you're gonna have to exemplify that with a source, man.
I can exemplify that with somebody that's actually in the tradition and initiate.
I want a citation, brother.
All right.
I think he right on that one. But I could be wrong because I always get Olorun and Olodumare. I'm about to wiki it right quick.
Well, here's the thing: the brother is obviously copying and pasting this from somewhere, and you can tell he didn't just Wazoo didn't make this up.
Yeah, he's Olodumare. I'm on Wiki. According to Wikipedia, Olorun and Olodumare the same.
Yeah, right. You can tell he's citing this from somewhere because you see that bracket in that one right there. Mm-hmm. That's a citation. Yeah,
that's a citation. Yep.
Okay, so does Wikipedia hold more weight than a person that's in the living tradition?
I would rather get a citation, brother, from someone studied in the field. I would rather see that.
That's crazy.
Because we can call Ebos right now and they can tell you that they're Jews, and you're not going to take that, ain't you? You ain't going to accept that.
Nah, because that's not the oral tradition.
Exactly. My point. Now find me my citation, man.
That's a long wolf.
Find me a citation.
I ain't no sweat. Give me a minute, bro. I got plenty of books. Hold on.
Yeah, I just want a citation that says he didn't involve himself with humans at all. And if that's the case, which I'm reading something completely different.
Can you give me a source that says he does?
I'm reading right now. It says bestows the knowledge of things upon all persons when they are born. So that will fall into the definition of theism that you wanted.
What source is that from?
You give me yours, I'll give you mine.
You scared to read the source?
We had the source. I'm waiting on you to give me yours. Like I'm researching and reading up on it as we speak.
Yeah, you already got your shit ready though. I'm looking. I'm currently.
No, I didn't. I didn't, bro. I had nothing pulled up about Olodumare prior to this discussion. When you brought up Olodumare, I started researching right then.
Yeah, but that should be like asking the Israelite to go to Genesis or a book in the Bible. You should have that like locked and loaded, huh?
Why should I have that locked and loaded?
You tell me, bro.
I mean, you invoked them.
Right, exactly, bro. Like, damn.
I mean, y'all act like I planned on coming over here having this conversation. This is a freestyle.
Hey, bro, we didn't know what you was gonna do till you did it, bro. I mean,
exactly. I didn't know what I was gonna do till I did it too. So if I don't have a source already set up and ready, that don't make sense, bro. What are you talking about?
Well, you know this source up or shut up, bro. So you already know what it is over here, bro. So you say something.
Yeah,
maybe you might want to have
big brother Hawk West, man. Appreciate it. I already know.
So the source I'm using is by John Bawahi, Oladamari, God and Yoruba Belief in the Theistic Problem of Evil.
It's from who?
John Bawahi.
Let me check that brother out.
It took me 5 seconds to find this shit, but
I hope you ain't no E5, bro. Practitioner, bro. Cause
actually it's called Ishesha, but yeah, nah.
Yeah, I used to hear that all the time. But what's that brother y'all got over there? He always bring it up, but he ain't practicing that shit. Niggas can't even tell me 2 things about it.
I don't know what you're talking
Kyle, that's my brother, man. Kyle, that's his name.
Yeah, man, Kyle.
All right, I'm gonna pull my source up while you waiting on his, and just chop down this favor like Loaded Luck say.
Yeah. Well, his God ain't dealing with him, so he probably got to go through some.
Brother, you gotta invoke a Orisha or something to help you out. Like,
man, shit. Calling Nancy, come help, whatever, some shit.
The ancestors, Ashe.
And what's funny, man, these brothers be talking about the ancestors. The African tradition of worshiping the ancestors don't go past your grandfather.
Hey man, don't lump me in with everybody else doing.
They don't. I'm not talking about nobody in particular. I'm just saying they only worship they only venerate their ancestors to their grandfather. They only, venerate 3 generations. So people be talking about like they worshiping ancestors from 1,000 years. They don't even much do that. And I'm gonna pull that source. I said it, but I gotta pull it out because it's in one of them books.
Man, like we waiting, brother. Like
this nigga gotta kill a chicken or something. Huh?
Yeah, you gonna have to sacrifice a chicken or something, brother. You got to sprinkle some blood or something, man. Waiting on this source again that show that he don't involve himself with the affairs of men at all.
Weren't you supposed to be pulling up yours? I mean,
I got mine on the screen waiting on you. Waiting on you, man.
That's not what we're talking about, bro. We're talking about him intervening in the life and affairs of human beings in the earth.
It got you. And a deist doesn't do that. A deist God, right, with a D, doesn't do that at all.
Right. And that's my point.
But this doesn't apply to Oladumare unless you got a source showing it does. Like, even if it did, bro, it wouldn't be no problem because our point was that these people believe in gods. But since you want to have it,
that was y'all point. But when I came on, I asked, was theism a consensus throughout Africa? Y'all said yes.
Gotcha.
So really, even while y'all waiting on me, the burden of proof is supposed to be on y'all, but it's all good.
Negro, you said that he didn't, so we want the proof that he didn't. The onus of proving that is on you.
Yeah, you made the statement.
Hold on. I asked a question. I said, "Is theism?"
This is what we was talking about. You guys are so used to. You got. We answered you. Hold on. This is what we're talking about. Gotcha. You guys are so used to questioning that y'all are not good at substantiating.
When I came on, did I ask a question?
And we followed up. It followed up with a dialogue, and you made a statement. Now we're trying to get you to prove that statement.
Okay, so yes or no. When I came on, I asked a question.
Brother, you asked a question. We said yes. There was a disagreement there.
Okay,
and
so
then we talked about. Hold on, stop. Then we talked about theism and deism. You're claiming that these would be deisms or deists with a D. So now you invoke Oladumare. So if Oladumare is an example, hold on, brother, stop.
You asked me. I didn't invoke anybody. You asked me a question.
Yes. And when I said, can you show me an example of that? You said Oladumare. I said, okay, give me a citation. And that's where we at now.
Okay. So,
like, come on, bro.
Yeah, I won't say it.
What? So asking for proof is a problem with y'all, man. Again, these guys are so used to questioning that they don't know how to substantiate the things that they claim.
Yeah,
okay, so
you're supposed to have something.
okay, so I bite the bullet. I can't substantiate. Now, can you substantiate that I was wrong?
So you can't substantiate.
Yeah, that's right. I said I can't substantiate.
So and this is why reading is fundamental. I want my audience to understand this.
Read a book, read a book, read a motherfucking book. Read a book, read a book, read a motherfucking book. Read a book, read a book, read a motherfucking book. Read a book, read a book, read a motherfucking book. R-E-A-D-A-B-O-O-K. 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 Not a sports page, not a magazine, but a book, nigga. A fucking book, nigga. Not a sports page, not a magazine, but a book, nigga. A fucking book, nigga. Not a sports page, not a magazine, but a book, nigga. A fucking book, nigga. Not a sports page, not a magazine, but a book, nigga. A fucking book, nigga. Read a book, read a book, read a motherfucking book. Read a book, read a book, read a motherfucking book. Read a book, read a book, read a motherfucking book. Read a book, read a book, read a motherfucking book. R-E-A-D-A-B-O-O-K. 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 R-E-A.
You got the nigga shit out the way. So now, let me ask. So now,
you ain't asking shit, brother. You out of here. You couldn't prove shit. Get your ass out of here.
Not a sports page, not a magazine, nigga.
But a book, nigga. A fucking.
That shit, wow, man.
All right, man. I was looking this stuff up while he was talking, and what I came across Wiki, and I tried to go to the direct source. Well, let me bring up the Wiki real quick, since he gave me nothing. Like I said, man, these dudes are so used to questioning that they don't know how to substantiate the claims that they make. He came in here and made a big deal about theism and said, "Oh, we have to go to the definition." So we stick to the definition. Try to get him to give us an example. Can't give us a goddamn example.
Yeah, that was crazy.
All right, so let's go to Oli Damari. I'm gonna go to the Wiki. That the Wiki is cited. So yeah, he gonna read Garfield book. He gonna cry in the car. There ain't nothing else to be talked about. You can't prove shit. You Negroes, none of you Negroes can prove any damn thing. You learn that from Polite and Garfield. Blame your teachers. They did not teach you how to substantiate none of that shit at all. All right. Let me share my screen. Go to this Wiki article. Ola Dumare. Remember, his claim was they did not interact with human beings at all. Right here. This is Ola Dumare. Excuse me. Also known as Ola Run, right? This is one of the manifestations of a supreme creator God in Yoruba religion. And I don't know why y'all invoking this. Y'all don't believe in gods, remember?
Right.
We should get rid of gods and get rid of deities. And that's what's holding people back, according to Garfield and Polite. So let's go down here. It says, however, there are those who also worship Olodumare directly. Olodumare is the origin of virtue and mortality and bestows the knowledge of things upon all persons when they are born. That's what this says right here. He is omnipotent, transcendent, unique, all-knowing God in evil. The Yoruba call on Olodumare when other deities or orishas seem unwilling or incapable to the help. So this would fall into the parameters of theism.
Yeah.
Stop it. Stop it. The Yoruba believe Olodumare created all other forces of the universe to help continue the evolution of the universe. This is not a deist. And even if it was, it wouldn't help your argument because your mans and them are promoting and advocating African people to be atheists, man. Yeah. Obviously, the Yoruba, the Igbo, the Akan, none of these people are atheists. None of them. Come on, man.
Yeah.
You got anything you want to add to that, brother?
Well, I'll just read from African religions, and it's an encyclopedia. For Olaroon, it says that Olaroon, at times the Yoruba combine another name, Oladumare, with Olaroon in their reference to God. It says, in times of trouble or danger, the Yoruba usually exclaim Olaroon, Oladumare. It is generally held that Oladurum is more ancient than the native Olaroon, which appears to have gained its predominating currency in consequence of Christian Muslim influence. So he's definitely, they call on him. So, the deists and the theists is crazy.
Come on, man. That's a direct interaction. That would be theism. You tried, you failed. You know what I'm saying? And then you're gonna try to switch it around on me. Ain't no switching around on nothing, man. Your ass made a claim, you gonna substantiate it. Right. Oh, I can't do it now. You do it. No, nigga, this is not how this works, man.
Look, it says, unlike the Ashanti of Ghana and Kikuyu of Kenya, the Yoruba damn, my phone went dead. It's about to go dead. But yeah, that's from the book African Religions, the Encyclopedia of African Religions. That's where I got that from.
Yeah, which they should burn that book because they don't believe in deities in the first place. And then he talking about, I know somebody that's in the practice. Okay, go tell him that his gods is fake and that he believe in everything he believe in is mythological and bullshit. And like you come to us, go talk to him like that and see how he respond to your black ass.
That's why I say it's the subjectivity, man. It's like you guys are just, I guess, casually just overlooked that these guys believe in God, magic, and all this other stuff like we as Israelites do too. But with us, it's a problem. I mean, these guys crazy,
man. Yep. So, man, anything y'all want to add into it, man, go ahead, man. I'm about to get ready to.
Nah, man, I just appreciate, you let me on, drop that presentation, man, for them guys, man. Logic for dummies, or rather for mummies, and Matt for dummies or mummies. But appreciate it, bro. And all praise to the Most High in the name of Yahshua HaMashiach, man.
Right. All praise to the Most High, dude. You got Sutex still talking shit in the comments. He ain't proved a goddamn thing, and we did.
But that's what he comfortable at in the chat. So
yeah. Remain in the chat, brother. You don't do well in the actual, thick of things, brother. You're not a soldier.
That's what he do his thing in the chat, I guess.
All right, man. We're gonna close it out. Shalom to the viewers. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video on a multitude of social media platforms. And we're going to be right back at y'all tomorrow with another live. We're going to deal with that Edith Bruce book, The Black Jews in Africa, to piss these people off even more. Let's get it.
No doubt. Shout out to my man, Vinny D. Davis, man.
Big business.
RSK, let it play, boy. When I tell them I'm an Israelite, it's big business, not miniature. Service, same thing as minister. Kill the flesh, how to finish them. These commandments, they'll sustain you. I'm surrounded by these angels. I ain't worried, I'm protected from seen and unseen dangers. When I tell them I'm an Israelite, it's big business, not miniature. Service, same thing as minister. Kill the flesh, how to finish them. These commandments, they'll sustain you. I'm surrounded by these angels. I ain't worried, word, I'm protected. From seen and unseen dangers. I wake up and say me a prayer. Brush my teeth, babe, then I throw on some threads. Wash my face, grab a cup, pour me some yum. Put on my backpack, then I'm off to the bread. I eat these devils for breakfast. Gotta be careful. Whole lot of blood being shed in the streets. World is so wicked, I weep for the living. I drop a free cheer for the dead. All my white friends in my pocket, or either they loading onto this black card that I swipe. Say every time that I drop it, the verse be hitting more harder than problems of life. Rich, I collected 2 pennies from every person that willingly gave me advice. Being afraid can't exist in my spirit. I'm fearing no man but the Father in Christ. I put in work with the brothers. We stood on them corners from 10 to like 9 the same night, teaching our people the gospel, equipped with a camera, some posters, some speakers, and mic. Every time that I see mama, she telling me, son, you gotta walk in the light. Christ, the bread of heaven, keep feeding my spirit, and I want a low, not a slide. When I tell them I'm an Israelite, it's big business, not miniature. Serving same thing as minister. Kill the flesh, how to finish them. These commandments, they'll sustain you. I'm surrounded by these angels. I ain't worried, I'm protected from seen and unseen dangers. When I tell them I'm an Israelite, it's big business, not miniature. Serving same thing as minister. Kill the flesh, how to finish them. These commandments, they'll sustain you. I'm surrounded by these angels. I ain't worried, I'm protected from seen and unseen dangers.
When I tell you I'm an Israelite, tribe of Judah, don't you take it personal. Plead the blood on these demons, we purging them. Don't entertain Jezebels, we be curving them. Ayy, I got a ribbon, she virtuous. In person, this blue life ain't virtual. I can't forget when I heard the truth. I got cut with that word, it got surgical. Conviction can lead to repentance. I pray these verses encourage you. We repenting, now we on the vertical. Judah rising, see Isaiah 32. Big business, nothing minuscule. I picked up that pen back in middle school. Guard your light and take heed who you listen to. Watch your mouth and your ears and your vision too. Hashatan and Shalkani won't finish you. In Mortal Kombat, this war is not physical. Gird your loins up and follow the general. Messiah is coming, that's scriptural. You gotta starve your flesh. The real war ain't even started yet. This look like a setup for a second exodus. I'm trying to be where the water at. Let's get it.
When I tell them I'm an Israelite, it's big business, not miniature. Serving same thing as minister. Kill the flesh, how to finish them. These commandments, they'll sustain you. I'm surrounded by these angels. I ain't worried, I'm protected from seen and unseen dangers. When I tell them I'm an Israelite, it's big business, not miniature. Serving same thing as minister. Kill the flesh, how to finish them. These commandments, they'll sustain you. I'm surrounded by these angels. I ain't worried, I'm protected from seen and unseen dangers.
Hey, y'all. One thing before I leave, if you are op and you watching this channel, you get what you deserve. You guys are gluttons for punishment. Source gang, 7 gang over everything. Gang.
Shalom.